Hi, I'm Jeff Marsacci, the Plain English Attorney, and you're at the #1 place to get simple answers to complex questions. We cover topics for attorneys, financial advisors, and the general public around estate and Medicaid planning, as well as some best practices for professionals. Our mission is to dispel myths, provide you some peace of mind, and hopefully have some fun along the way.
Hi, Jeff Marsacci, and today we're talking about the Irrevocable Property Trust and how it fits into this whole toolbox for care assistance planning. So the Irrevocable Property Trust is designed to hold real estate and property and other things that could be very highly appreciated, but for the vast majority of the time we're talking about real estate. So what exactly do we need this for? What is it? So it's set up. So who's in charge of it? Our clients are the trustors. They're the ones setting up the trust. The trustee is not the client, though. Usually that's the close family member who's going to be in charge of anything related to financial or legal things. They're the ones in charge of that. And who's the beneficiary? Well, that's where it's split a little, and it's split for a very particular reason. And it has to do with taxes. All right, so our clients end up retaining the right to live in the property and to get any income that's generated from the property. So if it's rented out, they have to get the income. But for most of the time when we're talking about property, it's the primary residence or a vacation home that they're not renting out. It's just real estate that we're trying to protect from having to get spent down to qualify for Medicaid and other benefits. All right, so while the clients keep the right to live in the property and the income, they don't have the right to any principal. So, well, what principal is there? It's the real estate. So they don't get to sell it. They don't get to manage it. It's all in the hands of the trustee. They just get the right to live in it and receive the income. Now, why do we do this? Because we have two different sets of rules that we're working with. The first one is trying to make sure that it's not on the table as a spend down item. And the second is taxes. So let's talk about the tax piece of it first. If you buy a house for $100,000 and then 15 years later you sell it for $300,000, you're going to pay capital gains taxes on that gain. We want to try to avoid that. And one of the benefits that you actually get from the federal estate tax is everything that you own has its cost basis bump up to fair market value on the date of death. So in that example, the $100,000 to $300,000 in capital gains, it would be valued at $300,000 on the date of death of our clients. So the kids could turn around and sell the house and end up not having to pay capital gains taxes on it. So that's why we keep those two very specific rights, the right to live on the property and the right to the income. Now, on the other set of rules, if we're talking about Medicaid planning and care assistance planning, that's not enough that the government would say, oh, you have to spend this down. So we're using these two sets of rules. So that's why we have it set up the way we do. Now, what happens if real estate is sold in the trust? If it's not reinvested in other real estate, well, then the money shifts over to the family irrevocable trust and just gets combined with the other investments that are in there. And what happens if the clients pass on? Well, at that point, the real estate will move over to the family irrevocable trust to be distributed to the beneficiaries with everything else. So that's what's going on with this irrevocable property trust. So that's the way it's set up. So it's not a mistake, as we've seen some attorneys think, oh wait, the trustor and the trustee and the beneficiary is the trustee for the family irrevocable trust. It must be a mistake if the clients are the trustors and then one of the kids is the trustee and the beneficiary on the other. No, it's intentionally set up two different ways because they're used for different purposes. Now that's the second of the two biggest documents that we use in the toolbox. So we'll get on to some of the others next.
We hope you found that information useful and easy to understand. To keep getting this great information, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. To get even more information more quickly, follow the links below to some of our free, no obligation programs.